last heavy bench day before powerlifting meet. It's a week from today. The whole idea here is doing a deload, taking a week to rest, doing one session. I'm gonna do a full body session on Wednesday next week. Just to kind of go through the motions. Still do some squat, bench, and deadlift, but about half the weight of what I've been doing. And just let the joints and everything heal, and hopefully be good to go to set some new PRs. I like to stretch my shoulders out like this before I do my benching. I've had some shoulder issues in the past. I've dislocated both of them multiple times. So, just like to make sure they feel good. And then do some good warm-ups. Warming up good is really important. And I see a lot of people when they do it, even when they start warming up with just the bar, they get in there and just start going really fast. But you gotta remember, that's when your body's the coldest or your muscles aren't warmed up yet. So even with just doing the bar, jerking back and forth a bunch, you could hurt yourself doing that. So I try to do it the same way I'm gonna do on my other bench. Even though it's easy, I'm doing 12 reps here. I'm just slowly coming down, touch my chest, push back up. Touch my chest, push back up, control the whole time. No need to speed through it. I wanna feel it, make sure nothing's hurting, make sure I'm getting a good stretch the whole time so that I stay consistent from my warm-ups all the way up through my last heavy set. So, I'm looking to hit a new bench PR today, which sounds like it wouldn't be that smart the week before competition, but the last competition I did, the first one, until the last few weeks, my bench training consisted of touch and go reps, which if you're familiar with powerlifting, you can't do it like that. You unrack, you wait for them to tell you to lower, you lower the bar to your chest, you pause it there until they say press, then you press back up and you wait there until they say rack. So you can't just do a quick bounce and go. And I found pretty much all the times I've gotten hurt is doing touch and go reps. Ever since I've started training like this, I haven't had any shoulder issues, staying under control the whole time. It forces you to use less weight. And I hit 276 my last time around training for my first powerlifting meet, but that was touching my chest and pushing right back up. So you get bounce off your chest, you get a recoil from the bottom, but all that weight with that jerk at the bottom also is what was hurting my shoulders. And then the other times I've gotten hurt have been when I get the weight halfway up and I don't have anyone spotting me and I'm like, I want to get it the rest of the way, but I know I can't. And I lift my butt up and then it changes the angle and then my shoulder starts hurting the next day. So I've gotten to the point where I'm not going to ego lift in the sense of I'm going to raise my butt just to get it up. If I can't make it, I just lower it and then let the safety rails do their thing, get out from under it, take the weight off, put it back on, and do my next set. So just be smart about it, and we'll see what we can do. I did 273, I think, so I'm hitting 275 today. That'll be, actually, I think it'll be 276 because my weights are like 0.2 to 0.1 pounds over each weight, so it's about an extra pound once you get to the top. I'll calculate it before we do it because I've measured all my weights. I've got videos on these plates as well that show the differences and which ones, like I've got bumper plates I use for deadlifts. I mean, these are bumper plates too, but I've got recycled rubber ones that are way cheaper, like half the price, but they're nowhere near as accurate. So knowing how much you have is important because you might think, hey, I'm gonna try 275 today and not realize it might be 277 or maybe it's 273. And then you go somewhere else to lift and then all of a sudden you're like, man, I thought I could lift that much, but perhaps your weights weren't as heavy as you thought, or they're heavier. So it makes a difference there. But about to get into my last warm-up set here. I did the bar for 12, 135 for 7. Now we're gonna do 205 for another 3. So let's still do this, a few, like 3 to 5 between each of my sets, just to help loosen up my shoulders, keep them warm while we're going through this. We're about to do the first heavy single. So that progression, I do the 3 warm-ups, the bar, 135, 205, and now we're moving up to 245, and then 265, and then we're gonna try 275. So essentially, I do those warm-ups and then pick a weight that's 30 pounds below what my planned top weight's gonna be. do that because I know I can hit 245 easy, then 265, and then we're gonna go 275. So in the competition, I'm hoping to do like 270, then 280 possibly. We'll see. I might just do 275 there as well, depending on how I feel, depending on how this goes today as well. So 245. That one felt pretty good. 245. The only thing I have been noticing is like my wrist on this side, it just feels really tight when I'm holding the bar there. So I'm hoping I don't have some kind of wrist injury. Trying to max out when get to the competition. But the rest of my sets now, when you're at the competition, if you haven't done one before, you've got a flight of people that all go through. So anywhere from 10 to 15 people go through and do all their squats. And then when you get to bench press, everyone does their first bench press. So then you wait for everyone to go, then you get your second attempt. So it's anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes probably between lifts. So I'm just gonna wait 10 minutes between lifts. I probably don't need that much time, but gonna train like I'm doing it since this is the last heavy session I'm doing before the powerlifting meet. And we'll see how it goes. 265 is next. That felt a little tougher than I expected. And that is what failure looks like. You can't win them all, and some days you're just not gonna be feeling it. Like last week when I did 273, it went up really easy and quick. And the week before that when I did 270, that felt pretty hard. So some days you're just not on, and I didn't want to try to push as hard as I could through that. I don't want to get hurt since it is pretty much maxing out. So just let it back down and know, okay, that's probably gonna be the max of what I'm able to do next week, shooting for 275. And like when I did 265, that felt tough. So if you are in a meet, think about lifts, have ahead of time what you want to plan to do, but then if you get there and you're just not feeling it, well, go a little bit lighter. You don't always have to hit PRs every time. Last time I got 259 for my top set of bench because I jumped from that to 275 and missed it. So this time I'll probably shoot for, we'll see. I may just go to 265, depending on how the first set feels. Maybe I'll do 270 and then from there decide if I'm gonna go to 275. So we'll see what happens, but you can't win them all. Had a good deadlift session a couple days ago, and now just gonna have to rest, try to keep my mobility up, do a good deload session next week, and hope for the best of the competition. Let me know what your training's like for bench press or powerlifting or whatever you're doing. I'm about to switch stuff up after this competition and go back to doing lighter weight for 10 to 20 reps on most of my lifts and just focus on hypertrophy leading up to my next bodybuilding show in September. Just gonna finish up my chest workout now, do some back off sets. I got 240 for as many reps as I can, then 215, and then move on some incline dumbbells, some dips, and all that good stuff. Check out at Camber Fitness if you wanna follow along progress, what I do in the gym. What happens at this powerlifting meet, HTLT subs is what I use right now. I got creatine and pre-workouts are my two things I pretty much use all the time. And I'll see you in the next one for leg day.